What's up, everybody? This is Raph and Tom, and
Hello.
today we are gonna be discussing Gamera's Rebirth's first episode, which just premiered yesterday on Netflix. So go ahead, subscribe, hit the like button with an atomic breath, and let's get right to the good stuff. So in this first screen, we see Boko sitting by himself at the beach. And you had some really interesting impressions about this, Tom.
Yeah, he seems to be reminiscing or looking to the past. Like this is something that's happened after everything that we're
Mm-hmm.
about to see. So,
Like the show's gonna come full circle to this scene when it ends.
yeah, or somewhere towards the end, get to a point. Everything up to this point leads to now. Well, because he says at the end of that scene, we're gonna be here for him now, like he was here for us. And I think he's referring to Gamera, so
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. So then we're thrust to the episode's title, Episode 1, Above Tokyo. And the show begins with a science team on an exploration. And what do they find, Tom?
they find a bunch of Gauss eggs down in a cave.
And you can see the
And
little gases there.
they begin hatching, and Gauss are pretty evil little creatures, and the scientists don't make it.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. And then we cut to the beginning of the children's journey, which it's obviously inspired by Gamera the Brave. You know, this movie, this first episode is very centered on the kids, and we see Boko, the leading character right there. He's on the left with his friends, and they're about to buy a radio.
Yeah, they want to keep in touch after. Apparently, Boko has to move away and won't be around his friends, so they want to keep in touch through either some sort of CB or ham radio, and they're looking to buy it. They've been looking at this through the window, and they want to buy it to keep in touch with one another, to keep their friendship alive.
Then we can see them rolling back because they go to the store and they ogle all over it. Oh, this radio is awesome. Then they're riding back to their tree house, which is where they begin putting out all of their money on the table to see if they're going to be able to buy it. And it's really fun. Okay, and it's really fun because they begin this childlike banter. Oh, you don't have this. Oh, you don't have that. Then they cut back to this guy, the guy that's up front. You know, the guy with the hair that's blue. And he says, "Well, you didn't ask me if I had money." And they go, "Well, you never have money." But then, boom, he puts whatever was needed. He puts it on the table, so now they can afford the radio. You know, it was a really nice, playful moment between them. And next, when they're wandering, they spot this turtle, and I'm gonna let Tom take it away on this scene. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, the turtle's stuck in the roots of the tree on the bank there, and I think that it's just a foreshadowing element of, okay, here's the turtle and Gamera soon to come. You might think that maybe this is a young Gamera, but I don't know, because he shows up pretty quick. There's not enough time for that young of a turtle to grow into Gamera, in my opinion. But this is speculation, so
Yeah, but this is also a throwback to the very first Gamera movie, and also to Gamera the Brave, because the same thing happens. They find a small turtle, which either does become Gamera, like in Gamera the Brave, or the children will believe it's Gamera no matter what, even if it isn't. So, good stuff. And then, you know, they try going back. Boko's friends, they say, hey, just, let's leave it be. We can do anything. But Boko, being the pure hearted protagonist, he's going to try and dive into the river, which is kind of a swamp, to save the turtle. But he begins drowning, and his friend, the bigger, the tougher friend out of the group, dives in to save him. And you can see that, Boko is still hell-bent on saving the turtle. So they do it. And I like this shot so much because it tells us every single character's story from the look in their eyes. Boko, he is the wide-eyed guy with the pure heart, the burning passion. Then we don't remember his friends' names. We probably should. And then you can see, the guy with the glasses is the tech guy, so you can see that he gets impressed. He's in awe. And then you have the guy on the left who's probably had it rough. That you can see, he's not as excited about this, but he's still impressed too. And that is good animation. Just by looking at this, you can tell so much about each and every one of those characters.
Yes.
And also, the look on the turtle's face is like, what the fuck are you doing? Can you please let me go?
Please.
I was just there. Okay, and then eventually they put the turtle down. And again, so much can be told about their eyes. The fire youth, the tinkering guy, and then the kid who's probably had it rough, but you can see that there's love and passion in his eyes too. So good stuff on the people that made this. A story is told without words. Excellent stuff. And now, this was a scene I absolutely loved, and Tom knows exactly why. And okay, take it away, Tom. You start.
Oh, he's back in his own home with his mother, who is
a vampire,
a little overbearing, and only wants him to concentrate on his studies. Like most parents are. And only wants him to concentrate on his studies, and is giving him a hard time about spending time with his friends and playing in the mud, and he needs to focus on his studies.
Mm-hmm. And also, there's that issue that she has the worst haircut ever. And this comes from a guy that doesn't exactly have a lot of hair on his head, but mine's genetics. Hers was a choice. Hers was a fucking choice. And here we cut to this scene, expertly clipped by Tom, screenshotted by Tom, where we see the police. There's been some sort of disturbance in this alley, and they're searching, and boom, they find Gauss's, I don't know if we should call it children, but they find infant Gausses.
Yeah, the Gauss are really grotesque looking in this. I like what they did with it. I mean, they still keep the shape. You can tell what kaiju the Gauss are supposed to be.
Yes.
But they're not quite as squared and angled as the original Gauss. And the one in Gamera Guardian of the Universe is kind of more in this design, but it seems like they took it a step further. They made it more grotesque and horror looking.
Yeah, it looks like an animated corpse. So we like this design too. We approve it. Do you? Let us know right now. And then, of course, the cops get startled. And again, props to Tom for capturing those cutscenes. He did an amazing job. So they get startled, and then I think one of them loses an arm.
Yes, they don't make it, but
yeah, they don't make it. But
I left some things for the people to watch. You don't want to give everything away.
Yeah. Good call. And then they're back at the store. They have the money. They're gonna buy it. But those fuckers show up. And what's this called? Oh, Brody. He's called Brody.
Brody, yes.
Brody and his friends show up. And this is set in 1989. And he says, oh, hey, you guys, You didn't pay your taxes, you didn't pay your dues because of the whole U.S.-Japan alliance or whatever. And Boko is hell-bent on not giving the money, but things start going south, and of course, the tougher kid is going to be up front, and he's going to defend his friends. But hey, difference in size. This is anime, but it isn't an anime about fantasy fighting between humans. So, of course, they grabbed the short end of the stick. We got absolutely furious when we saw this. And
yes.
then, of course, Boko's going to try and standing up, but he's going to get one. But then again, the mighty kid clocks him in the fucking nose. If you get sucker punched in a fight, even if you win, you always be demoralized.
Yes.
Especially, this guy must have been like, what, 16?
I think so. I think it mentions he's like 12, which makes me think that the other kids are like 8 or 9. But he's bigger than they are for sure.
Yeah, man, you get sucker punched by an 8-year-old with a spear 4 times as bigger as yours? Oh, you're gonna remember that. But the scruff's over. They return home, demoralized. Boko is trying his best not to cry, and he's carrying the tin can where they kept the money, but of course it's empty. And Boko says, "Hey, I want revenge." Who wouldn't? And then, okay, we don't have this, but the kid in the glasses. By the next episode, we're gonna know all of their names. Okay, and the kid in the glasses say, "Well, if you really want to do this, then we're gonna need a plan of action." And then it switches back to them and their treehouse coming up with the plans. You can see a plan on the table. Again, kids stuff, but done in a way that actually I care for those 3 children. Don't you, Tom?
Oh yeah, and yeah, it makes you care about them. But what you were saying about the plan, yeah, they came up with some pretty good ideas. They were taking like hot pepper and making like a homemade mace with it. I'm not going to say what else they mixed with it. You'll have to watch.
Good going.
But they make little
Gadgets.
I don't know if they're smoke bombs or like little flash bombs, and the one kid has a can of aerosol and a lighter and makes a flamethrower. So they're going in prepared.
And again, this is just like a kid would prepare for war, for battle, or whatever. So this show has made us, at least myself, very warm in my heart from seeing those children. The way they acted, the way they thought, the way they did things. So, good stuff. And then we cut back to some more military ops, because back then, especially in Gamera time, and also Godzilla time, tensions and war were still around. From the war was still around, so they made sure to capture this in the original show, and it's also in here as well. But this was just an opening, showing Commander, showing foreshadowing the characters that would show up. And next, they're ready. They have their tools. It's night. They're saying, "Hey, it's game time," quite literally. And we're gonna go for it. And they enter the arcade, and they say, "Hey, fucker, we're here." And then he begins going, "Oh, you want me to kick your asses again?" And blah 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 blah. And just as it's about to go down, something happened.
Either an earthquake, or I think it was Gamera stomping, or the military hitting with a bomb.
No, actually, it wasn't Gamera, because Gamera would fly over to the battlefield. He wasn't there yet. So, but shit was going down. It was going down hard. And then we see the Flyboys, for all of you, F-15s. And as an aviation fan, we were actually watching this yesterday, and I was so compelled by what I was seeing on screen, the fighter jets doing. that Tom, he told me, hey, what, no comments on this session? And I was, sorry, I was watching. And the jet models, they've been done down to the T. They're really beautiful. You got some really decent, some awesome animation on the jet, and you get some really great cinematics, some great angles. The battle begins raging on. You got the flyboys, they go at it hot. The missiles weren't authorized yet, so they're using standard cannon, the Vulcan. And the angles in this whole section, myself as a fan of aviation, I wish this sequence would have been 3 hours long. I'll take what we got. This wasn't about the flyboys. This is a show about Gamera, the kids, and everyone. So I'll take it. Still sad, but I'll take it. And you can see here more stills, and this pretty much represents the lack of the powerlessness of the military against the gals. The look on this pilot's face says it all. You look at this, you're gonna know that the flyboys won't be able to do much. So really great stuff. Really great stuff. I love this. You can see more sequences of terror. Plenty of sneak attacks. And also, this was a very good scene. Okay, I'm gonna follow in Tom's footsteps. I'm not gonna tell you everything, but let's just say that noses are going to be lost. Let's leave it at that.
Yes.
And then you can see that, the kids, they were at the arcade getting ready to go at it. And then you can see them on the rooftop and they're saying, what the hell's going on? And the blonde kid, Brody, he begins breaking down. Because apparently he's not just American. Either his father's from the military or he knows a lot about the military. So he begins...
Yeah, his father's the sergeant.
Oh, his father's the sergeant.
Yes.
So, you see everybody losing. You see every fighter going to shit. And he goes like, what the fuck's going on? We're supposed to be the best. It's a little bit of a humanization of his character, too. I like to see how this is going to play out. I was pretty pissed off at him yesterday, but I'm willing to give him a chance. Then, this is his father?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you can see the grave look on his face. And news are, we no longer have wings in the sky. And then moving on, of course, the gals, they come towards the children. And surprisingly enough, Brody is the one that's the most affected. The bully is always the biggest chicken shit. So, he's got his eyes closed. He's oh my God, what's going to happen? And then they begin running for their lives. I really like this scene, again, because of the three kids. We can really relate to them. And they're making a run for their lives. They decide to hide in the arcade. And Tom, I think it's time that you mentioned the Easter egg.
Well, yeah, I like seeing the old arcade machines like the Sega Outrun. That's a classic. You saw that a lot. And then instead of Capcom's 1945, we have 1989.
But it's the same font. It's the same font.
Yeah, it's the same font. It's supposed to look like that game, but I think the 1989 is because that's about when this show's supposed to be taking place.
Oh, and if you look to the right, there's Space Harrier. Can you see?
Right, another Sega. So I'm guessing they got licensing from Sega, and that was it. Because every other cabinet in the arcade, well, where'd you go, Raph?
I killed my feed so people could see Space Harrier right there.
Oh, okay.
And also, there's a cameo of another series. Okay. Snake Man. Isn't that a little bit familiar? The font, the logo.
It just might be Pac-Man, but
we don't know. We don't know.
Again, I think they got licensing from Sega, but not Namco or Capcom or anyone else.
But hey, it doesn't
So
matter. It doesn't really matter.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, we can tell what it's supposed to be.
and if I'm being honest, maybe that's because I'm not a corpo, I'm not a suit. But if people were making a show as good as this and they wanted to put my brand somewhere in there, I wouldn't raise a single objection.
Right? Yeah, it's free advertising if you ask me.
It's free advertising. It's for a good product, unless they're. Let's just leave it at that. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I'd actually be glad to be part of something like that. Such a great show.
Right.
And then something happens. There's this sort of tremor, and you can see that the machines collapse. The gals are trapped inside, and the kids.
Well, there's a blast that comes through the door, which I don't quite understand. I think we're supposed to think it was Gamera, but how the hell did he must have bent down to blast through the doors. So
Or
I was kind of confused at because there's a Gauss in the doorway, there's Gauss in the arcade. All of a sudden, this blast comes through. The children are behind a giant pillar, so they're shielded from it, and just everything goes flying at the Gauss and smashes them up against the wall.
you know what, Tom? Imagine this: you're standing in your house, and then all of a sudden, Godzilla lands full force 50 feet away from your house. What do you think is going to happen to every single piece of furniture you have?
I'm not sure, but I'd be yelling, "Thank you, my prayers have been answered." Um,
Now, this was the tremor from his landing, and the kids head outside, and you can see that they're not scared. It's like, oh, it's the big bad son of a bitch. It's Gamera, and I'm gonna run off a little bit on this because Gamera's design has changed quite a bit throughout the years. And I think the design they went for here was, they obviously took cues from Godzilla. They did. But it's still Gamera, but more menacing looking, more armored
right.
looking, and the parts which aren't his shell. So yeah, they drew a little bit from Godzilla, and I couldn't be happier with the result because now Gamera is menacing. You're afraid to look at him.
Well, I like looking at them, but
You know what I meant, Tom. Stop being weird. Stop being the actually guy.
water, stop being wet.
And then comes the apex of this episode. Now, a swarm of gals comes in, and Gamera's like, well, bring it on. And you can see his animation. And when I first saw this, I know he wasn't. But when I first saw this blue light coming from him, I thought, oh my god, is it the atomic breath? Even though that wouldn't make sense. But I thought about it. And what we get is Gamera's signature fireball, which done in 3D animation looks so awesome, looks so powerful. And yeah.
Actually.
Oh my god, here he comes.
Gamera shoots plasma balls.
Okay, moving on. And you can see he takes, if each of those flames is Gauss, then we have 4, 8, 10 Gauss taken down with a single plasma blast. And I really must take a fucking moment to appreciate the cinematics, the camera angles they chose for this. Because if you're going full 3D, then the limit is the director's mind. It's the director's view. And they made sure to give us awesome angles. And, the battle rages on. And of course, Gamera was going to get hit. But, Tom, I was actually surprised a little bit by this because I was expecting Gamera to do his signature bleeding. But you can see in here that he's much tougher than in the movies.
Oh, he does bleed a little bit, I
Yeah,
think,
but
in this
it doesn't
episode.
gush.
Right.
You know, they made sure Gamera was really armored here. Really fucking great stuff. And then, of course, there are going to be some strays on the ground. And, of course, they go for Brody. I wish they'd have taken him out, but they didn't. They're saved by the kids who throw Molotovs?
Now, those are the little flash bombs they
Oh,
made.
yeah. They
But
want...
they were going to use them on the bullies, but
Yeah.
they ended up saving them with them.
Again,
Much to your dismay.
again, body language. Even the animation in this is perfect. I know some people are bitching about this. And I can understand what they could be bitching about if they're talking about frame rates, because sometimes it's a little bit low. But honestly, man, it doesn't detract from the fun to me. You know, it doesn't really detract from the fun to me. I think people really need to, you know, shift down at least 2 or 3 gears, man. You know, the show. Go ahead.
The artwork is great.
Yes.
Maybe there's frame rate issues. I really didn't catch it as much as you. I'm looking more for the art and the story. I know a lot of people out there, including yourself, are looking with a more technical eye, but I have no complaints.
Me neither. Me neither. You know, this is just something that I've noticed because I have a technical eye towards things, even if I'm just resting. But it's like I told Tom when we were getting ready to do all of this. You know, it took us like 2 or 3 hours to get ready, to preparate everything. And, you know, because Tom, we want to bring the best to people, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so Tom separated all of those artworks. Props to him. Again, he made the greatest screenshots we could possibly go for. And I was telling him about this frame rate thing. But I also told him, you know, Castlevania has some very poorly animated fight sequences too. Actually, a lot of them are. And people didn't give Castlevania shit for this. So, you know, you bet as fuck I'm not giving Gamera shit for this. You know, it's still fun. It's still enjoyable. So why would I bitch about this? And they say, okay, moving on, they save the kids. And this is awesome. It's like a find the 7 errors thing.
Spot the differences.
If you think about it, the position the kids are in, with the exception of the kid on the right, it's kind of the same as the gals. You know, Brody being the tail, the other blonde kid being the wings. This is good.
Proof your children are not gals.
But yeah, I am a great. People are not going to get that joke. So, and you know,
your shirt is red.
Yeah, the kid with the fighting spirit is saying, "Hey, run away now! Go away!" And Brody's friends bail on him, but they decide. Actually, he's looking like Broly, not Brody. Now with his hair, you know, the legendary Super Saiyan. But they have to carry him over, and they say, "Oh, you're heavy," so you know it's really slow process, and they find safety, and they're watching the battle again. But they're not able to get very far with Brody. As you can see, he also pissed himself. And this shot's kind of funny. It's like, it's just like they're dead. And the battle rages on. And I think this is very close to the treatment Gamera deserves. I'm not saying that, you know, 3 of the last 4 movies aren't good. I'll never forgive you for making me watch Gamera 2. But but this look is what I'd expect from Gamera on a AAA movie. What do you say, Tom?
Oh yeah, like I said before, I have no complaint. The artwork is superb in my opinion. This show is better than I thought it would be.
Same.
And I had high hopes. I had a little bit lower expectation, but my hopes were met. I mean, thus far, the show is looking good, and the action's good, the story's good. So
The relationship between the kids is awesome.
yes,
So, okay, we're gonna do our closing thoughts later on. I think this is the one definition of the apex of any kaiju movie. The
the
threat,
showdown.
the kaiju, the good guy kaiju, and something on screen that says, yeah, that's not going to work for you. For the bad guy. But then a vicious battle ensues. It's close quarters. It's violent. And you can see right here. This fucking shocked me when I saw it. This scene shocked me because I thought, he's just going to rip the fucking thing's wings out? Really? But, he doesn't manage to do it. And the fight rages on for a little bit longer. Actually, it rages on for the perfect amount. It didn't last too much. It didn't last too little. It was very coherent. And of course, it ends the way it's supposed to end. With a Gamera plasma blast. Plasma, not fire. Because I learned. And then something very strange happens. Gamera is hit by missiles. Yes, the military mistakenly attacks Gamera, and it's understandable. Because, hey, it's fucking giant things fighting, so let's try and take them all out.
And the kids are in the background yelling no, because they know Gamera is fighting on the side of good.
And also, you can tell that this was from the government because the missiles are hitting you in the back. Do I need to further elaborate this? No. If someone hits you in the back, it's got to be the government. And then there's that huge smoke, and Gamera takes flight, goes away, and the kids are left standing there thinking, what was that? But they do so, as you can see in this, again, personality is so well written. Boko, he's like, oh, what was that? The kid in the back was like, oh, so cool. And then, maybe this is a projection of mine. I don't know. But the kid in the front, you can see that, he's not really sure. Hey, was that thing helping us? I don't really know. You can see it in his eyes. So again, stories being told without a word. That's where you know that people who made something know what they're doing. You don't need words to show emotion. Excellent stuff. Oh, and the kid with the glasses, has an ID tag. He has a dog tag.
Yeah, like military ID.
Yeah, but I don't think that's actual military. I think that's just because, he...
Oh, no.
He likes the military, so he likes to dress up. And then they return to Brody, who's pretty much the same way we left him. No big changes there. He's like, okay, I'm a plant now. But of course, Brody's gonna come around. I think he's gonna join the gang. And then we are met with this episode's final sequence, and a helicopter lands, and then the kids ask, well, who are you? And they say they're reporters, right?
No, they just look like reporters. No, she introduces herself from it's like a government organization. It's like I forget the name of it, but yeah, they say they want to ask the kids some questions about the Gauss.
Yeah,
and then
the guy,
then it cuts.
The guy in the suit, his fucking FBI, man. Tell me you are FBI without opening your mouth. It's him. So we got 2 more characters, and that's something that, if you've watched enough anime, then you can know that they're gonna be a somewhat significant to the story because they're well designed, They don't look like plain people who do. Oh, okay, Godzilla just smashed 500 people, and they're just people. No, those guys, they look like they matter to the story. So I'm also looking forward to this effect too. And then, that was the last screenshot that Tom expertly took for it. So, okay, it's first, if you haven't subscribed already, then do so. Because every single episode, if the overlords, you know what I'm talking about, they don't mess with our things, because that was the best way we thought about doing it, making several screenshots. We're going to bring every single thing that we review to you in this format to avoid both getting the CS and also at the same time being able to show you what we're talking about. So thank you, Tom, for your effort. I'll be the guy manning the editing. He did some very heavy lifting. And what's your take on this first episode?
Well, like I said before, I like it a lot. It's better than I expected it to be. The story's good, the action's good, the kaijus look damn good.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm excited to see more. I am truly excited to see more. So I wish somebody would have done a Godzilla show this good.
Hey, they did those 3 or 4 movies. You don't like them?
Well, maybe I need to give them another chance, but
Yeah, but you had the face to show me Gamera too.
this just seems better than the Godzilla animation.
Don't dodge the question. Your Honor, he's redirecting.
Part of the experience. You had to go through it. I did. You did too.
No, you're just trying to project suffering that had nothing to do with the. Okay, you had anything else to say?
Oh, it's great show. Looking forward to more.
Well, as for my impressions, now as for my impressions, all I gotta say is this was a delight to watch from start to finish. First, it didn't feel padded. Didn't feel padded at all. Every sequence lasted as long as it had to, and they put up a 45-minute episode.
Yeah, it's about 45.
Right, so dude, 45 minutes without padding, everything mattered. You had lighthearted moments. You had scruffs. Actually, near to be scruffs between kids, and you had every single type of character. You had the kids with the good heart. You had the brave one. You had the nerdy. Listen, people, nerd isn't an offensive word. At least not anymore. Nerd has lost this offensive connotation, this offensive meaning it had a long time ago. So I'm going to say the nerdy kids, just the kid that likes the tech stuff. That's it. Take it easy. Okay? Life's simpler. And we had the military. I like to see what the sergeant's going to do, how Brody is going to evolve into this, because he's probably going to get hauled back to base. So maybe we'll get different things, some sequences with Brody by himself at a military facility, getting something, gaining access to some information. Maybe he's going to share it with the kids or whatever. This is what I call a fertile ground. The show can go so many different ways from this, and all of them are good if they play their cards right. And if we take it from the first episode, then you can bet they're going to do some really good stuff. So, all right, Tom, moment of truth. From 0 to 10, what do you rate this episode?
This episode, I want to say 11, just because I like Gamera and Kaiju, but in all honesty, I'd probably give it a 9. I'd give it a 9. I really liked it. The only reason it's not a 10 is I actually want to see more kaiju fighting, but that's just me. but everything was well done. I have really no big complaints.
Yeah. For me, I'd rate it a solid 9 too, maybe 9.5, because Tom's more into the kaiju action, and if done correctly, then the human interactions can be just as important or very
Oh yeah.
important to the buildup of the kaiju battles. And this is the reason why I give it a 9.5. Because the human interactions, they were all awesome. They were very well done. And the buildup, the leading up to the fight, there's all of those aspects. You've lived so many things with those kids. So you're angry, you're anxious, you're tense at the same time. And then comes the battle, and you're thinking about the kids, what's going to happen to them. And they even save Brody, who I'm willing to give a chance. And at the end, it ends like this, with a great cliffhanger, because now the kids are not just going to be left running by themselves. Someone's going to take them, probably to some government facility where they're also going to be shot in the back because it's the government. But yeah, that's what I have to go, man. So Tom's a 9, and I'm a 9.5. So stay tuned, because the next episode, this review, is going to roll out pretty soon. And when we're done with every single episode, how many are there? 6?
6.
Well, at the end of the 6th episode, we are going to begin a special on Gamera movies. Yes, which ones do we watch? Which ones should we not? Gamera 2! And you guys won't want to miss it, because everything we do on YouTube, both on Kaiju Connection and our own private pages that are gaming related, it's always about passion with us. So if we bring it, we really think it's worth it. So this was Tom and Raph speaking to you. Any last words, Tom?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and we'll see you with the next episode of Kaiju Connection. Later.